In this video, we'll show you how to inspect and adjust the final drive belt on your Harley Davidson. It's important to inspect your drive belt regularly to make sure it's in proper running order and has the correct amount of deflection. These Harley Davidson drive belts are designed to last a long time, typically a lot longer than a chain, and if properly cared for, some will last the lifetime of the motorcycle. We're going to be working on a 1996 Softail Fat Boy, and most all these steps can be used to inspect and adjust the belt on just about any of the Harley models. You'll see we've got this bike up on a lift with a jack to hold the rear tire off the ground. This is so we can spin the tire and easily inspect the belt. So the first step of inspecting the belt is to gain access to it. If your bike is equipped with saddlebags, you're going to want to pull them off. This bike didn't have any, so we can go ahead and start spinning the rear tire and inspecting the underside of the belt. We're looking for missing teeth, deep cracks, and fraying in the belt. Small surface chips and cracks like you see here are usually fine, but if you find anything questionable, you can either take it and have the dealer look at it, or just go ahead and replace the belt altogether. The next step is to look at the outer side of the belt. We're again looking for fraying and also any cracks or holes through the belt. And as you can see, this one has a small hole through it, probably caused by a rock getting in under the belt. With this being in the middle of the belt and there isn't any fraying that we see, we're okay to keep running this belt. But with wear and tear like this, you want to keep an eye on it to make sure it doesn't get any worse, and if it does, you'd go ahead and replace the belt. It's also important that you check both sides of your belt for any unusual wear or fraying. If you did find damage or wear, it could indicate that your front and rear sprockets are misaligned. This can be caused by a few different things, but you'd want to start by checking your axle adjusters first. So now we've inspected our entire belt. It's also a good idea to take a look at your rear sprocket, make sure all the teeth are in good shape. Ours looks fine, so we can move on to checking the belt's deflection. It's important to have the bike cool when checking belt tension and when making any adjustments. We're going to be using the Motion Pro belt tension gauge to measure the deflection of this belt. And having a belt tension gauge is mandatory to perform this adjustment correctly. This tool allows you to put 10 pounds of pressure on the belt and accurately measure the deflection at the same time, making it the perfect tool for the job. It's also important to have your service manual handy for procedures and directions specific to your bike, as each bike's measuring locations, measuring directions, and specifications will slightly vary from machine to machine. So to begin, we refer to our service manual, and it's asking us to measure the deflection in approximately the middle of the sprockets with the rear tire on the ground and the rider's weight on the bike. So we'll place the gauge on the belt, and keep in mind most bikes you'll be measuring on the bottom length of the belt. When you have the gauge in position, take note of where the zero tension mark is on the gauge, and we're using the bottom of our belt guard as our reference point. So we'll count this mark as our zero tension mark because it's lined up with the bottom of the belt guard. And from there you'll push up on the bottom of the gauge until the 10 pounds of pressure mark meets the bottom of the outer tube. And as you can see, this belt has 1, 2, 3, 4, 4/8 or a ½ inch of deflection right now. You'll want to take this measurement in a few different spots on the belt and then adjust according to the tightest measurement. Our service manual calls for 5/16 to 3/8 of deflection in the belt, so we're going to have to adjust ours a little bit. To do that, we need to remove the axle nut covers from both sides, and then remove the cotter pin, and the newer bikes use an E-clip instead of a cotter pin. The next step is to loosen the axle nut, and we're not removing it, we just need to loosen it enough to be able to adjust the axle position. Now we'll move to our adjusters. On this bike, we're showing the old style adjusters, which use an adjusting bolt and lock nut. If you've got one of the newer bikes equipped with the eccentric cam setup, it's essentially the same process, but you want to refer to your service manual for specific instructions. We're going to first loosen the jam nut and thread it back a little ways, and then you want to pay attention to the head of the adjuster bolt. We call each side a flat, and we use these to adjust the belt tension and to make sure we have adjusted both sides exactly the same amount. So since we just need our belt a hair tighter, we're just going to turn it a ½ a flat clockwise to tighten the belt, and you'll see the bolt head now has an angle at the highest point. We want to tighten the jam nut to lock this adjustment into place, and be careful not to let the adjuster bolt move at all. And now we can move to the other side and do the exact same thing. Go ahead and loosen the jam nut, and thread it back. And then we'll turn the adjuster bolt half a flat clockwise to match what we just did on the other side. Then we'll retighten that jam nut and move back over to the axle nut. We're going to tighten this down pretty tight so we can accurately check the deflection of the belt. We'll torque this down after we know our belt is at the correct tension. So now we can recheck the deflection in the belt with the tension gauge the same way we did before. You can see this one's got 1, 2, 3, 3/8 of an inch, which is now within spec. So we can go ahead and torque down our axle nut and then reinstall our cotter pin or E-clip. And the final step is to reinstall the axle nut covers, and then you're done with the belt adjustment. If you have any questions about any of the steps you saw in this video, or about adjusting the belt on your Harley Davidson, feel free to give us a call at 1-800-336-5437. Rocky Mountain ATV MC's got you covered when it comes to parts, accessories, and apparel for you and your motorcycle. Thanks for watching. We'll see you out on the road.